I want to start this episode by saying if somebody wants to somebody wants to build what I am going to describe on this episode, please let me know because I want to be part of this so bad. Be part of what? You're thinking. What does he want to be part of? I believe that bottom of funnel search engine optimization, my favorite marketing channel, can be completely automated with generative AI. Bottom of funnel SEO is very predictable. It's pretty algorithmic. It's very repeatable. It's templatized. It uses a standard routine, or at least the way I do it does, and the way that I do it works extremely well. And I think if someone were to build this, it would be the greatest marketing tool of all time. I think it would be the most powerful marketing tool that was ever made. And I want to describe why before I describe how it would be done. The thing about bottom of funnel SEO is, there's so many things. First of all, bottom of funnel SEO protects any company from competitors, unless the competitor is also doing bottom of funnel SEO. But many people do not do it because many people don't know how to do it. They don't even know that it exists. Bottom of funnel SEO, what it is it uses search engine optimization to target keywords, search terms that have purchase intent behind them. These often are use cases, but not all the time. And people search things because they know what they want, but they don't know the brand that's going to give it to them. And so they are looking for that brand that's going to give them what they want, that's going to satisfy their use intent, their purchase intent, and then go with that brand, give that brand money or use that brand's software or services or whatever it is. It's not like top of funnel where you are exploring a topic, where you are learning more about a topic, and you don't really have any purchase intent, any use intent. You're just trying to learn. It's not like that. You know what you want, and you're just saying, please, somebody give this to me. I will give my money. It's like that meme of Fry from Futurama. Take my money. That's what it's like, because people know what they want. They just need a brand so they can give their money. They can give their time. They can use it, whatever it is. And oftentimes, it's pretty easy as well. Word count for pages have to be much shorter than top of funnel. They can be under 500 words, 400 to 500 words per page. Keywords are less competitive. They're easier to rank for because they are lower volume. Keywords that have purchase intent typically are long tail. They're longer, and longer keywords are searched by less people, whereas keywords that are shorter are searched by more people. Keywords that are more specific, search terms that are more specific, are searched by less people. And bottom of funnel SEO is about those specific keywords. And so you're targeting these keywords and you're making these short pages and you're ranking for these things that drive customers and users, not explorers, customers and users. And the reason that it's so powerful, aside from being easy and overlooked, is because many use cases can be spun in a way that fits a brand, or a brand can be spun in ways that fit many use cases. I can give you an example. Our company reverb.chat, for example, it's an online voice recorder. You record your voice, it gets stored in the cloud, you share it with a link. You can reply to other people's recordings, and then that starts a voice thread. We haven't built a voice inbox yet. We want to. It's a highly requested feature, but we haven't built it yet. And people will email and say, is it possible to collect recordings through Reverb from other people? Essentially a voice inbox that we don't have built yet. And I tell them, yes, it is, even though we don't have this built yet, because you can start a master reverb, a master recording, and then have people reply to that recording. So in a way, it is possible. And that could actually work to satisfy lots of different forms of just collecting responses, and people have done this. And so my point with this short little story is brands can be spun in so many more ways than people realize to fit a huge variety of use cases. And it's not just software brands. The same goes with services. And essentially, there's just so many of these keywords out there that are bottom of funnel, that are long tail and not very competitive, and that people are going to Google with or asking ChatGPT about, and they're not getting good solutions because nobody is targeting these keywords. ChatGPT doesn't have enough to train off of with these keywords either. Because I've done bottom of funnel search engine optimization with my companies, when you ask generative AI like ChatGPT or Bard about our use cases, Bard and ChatGPT recommend my software because I've done bottom of funnel SEO. And if you go to Google and search our use cases, our software comes up as well. But the thing is, there's always more use cases. There can be hundreds or thousands of use cases. A simple little app can satisfy hundreds or even thousands or even tens of thousands of use case search terms that people are putting in to search engines. That's why this is powerful. That's why this strategy is powerful. It just can bring so much traffic. And these, again, like I said, these search terms are often overlooked and not competitive. So I actually believe that this tool is mostly possible. I'll describe how. The way that you do on-page optimization to target these keywords is very simple. Essentially, it's you put the keyword at the beginning of the page title, you put it at the beginning of the meta description, you put it at the beginning of the H1. The H1 usually matches the page title. If it's too short, if the page title is too short, you add in an extra use case using a vertical line. You put your brand name at the end of the page title, put the keyword at the beginning of the text on the page. Page should be 430 words about. Put the keyword in the alt text for the first image, and then the actual page is very templatized. If you want to see what I mean, you can go to bitrix24.com/uses and see this company Bitrix24 targeting all these bottom of funnel keywords and how its pages often look the same. Or if you want to build this, just get in touch with me and I'll show you more of what I mean. But this can be extremely templatized. And in fact, the way that I do it is I always templatize it so it's less work for me. So all these pages can look the same, but use different images. Like the style, the layout can be the same, but they use different images. And where the keyword goes, it's always the same. So what you need to do is you need to have a piece of software where you can train an AI, you can train a generative AI off of how your brand works, what it does and how it works. You don't need to say what's possible with it. That's the generative AI's job to figure out. Generative AI would have a hard time figuring out what's possible with it on its own, but by prompting it with different keywords, I think it could actually do that, and it could write these 430 words to make the text for a bottom of funnel landing page. But I also believe it could find the right images. So you'd also need to give the generative AI an image from if you have a piece of software, every screen on your piece of software, every different screen. And then it will pull those screens and use them in the landing page templates. If you have a services business, it will just generate images related to the text next to them using DALL-E 3, which is very accurate. But you could still upload some images of your brand, and you should. Okay, so now we're at a point where the AI is writing the text and picking out the images that go with the text, and it's writing the text because you train it on basically a corpus of how your brand works, what it does, and it's picking the images based on the images that you give it for your software or for your brand. And if it can't find an image, then it will generate one. And in some cases, it might slightly alter images to make them more appropriate, not change the image to make it look like something does something that it doesn't, to make it look like your brand does something that it doesn't, but maybe just adding an emoji to make it more thematic for whatever the use case is. If you're going into an entirely different vertical and you have a piece of software that's very plain looking and can fit any vertical, maybe you add in emojis or just little images into the screenshots of the software that relate the software more to the theme. And they're clearly overlaid on the screenshots, but just the fact that they're there relates the software more to the search and is more likely to satisfy search intent for the person who is doing the searching. And then the last part of this equation, the last part of this piece of software is finding the keywords. This is also a pretty standardized process for me at this point. I look to many different places to find keywords. I look at what competitors are ranking for or similar products are ranking for. I use keyword suggestion tools, and anything that looks like my brand could be used for, any search term, any keyword that looks like my brand could be used for that, I'll write that down, and then I'll go look at the SERP, the search engine results page, to see who else is ranking for it. And I'll usually see, are people targeting these keywords directly? Okay, if no, that means they're usually overlooked and easy to rank for. If yes, they're going to be harder to rank for. I see what shows up on the page. Is it listicles? If so, that means that the keyword is not actually bottom of funnel. It means that the people who are searching it are actually looking to explore. And that's why Google is giving listicles. It could be if the keyword is long tail enough, then it's just because nobody has targeted this and Google doesn't know what to show people. That's also something that happens very often. And that's great when that happens. That means there's a huge opening for you. And then finally, sometimes I'll see it where people who are targeting the keywords directly are ranking under people who are not targeting the keywords directly. And the reason for that is because the people who are ranking number one, who are not targeting the keywords directly, they just have very high website domain authority, SEO domain authority, all these different backlinks. It's a older site with all these links. And so they're able to rank for more competitive keywords. And that means that this keyword is indeed more competitive. But it doesn't matter, because with this tool, the AI is just doing all the work. You just need to train it on your brand. Then it'll put out hundreds or thousands of pages to satisfy all this different search intent. I think there would have to be some prompting by the user to help find different keywords, like find keywords around this use case, around this use case. And this piece of software would be connected to a site to just generate these pages in a uses hub page, which would go in the bottom of the site in the footer. So in the footer, you would have a link that says uses. That would take you to a hub page where all of these keywords would be categorized and listed, and then they would connect to each individual page. This is what Bitrix24.com does. This is what services do. This is what software does. This is the way to do it. You need all these pages to be maximum 2 clicks away from the homepage. This is the way to do that. There's a few other parts of this equation. If you want to make it so Bard and ChatGPT can train off of these use case pages, you need to have a human reviewer. If you don't have a human reviewer, then you should put in your robots.txt. It's not you, the software will do this, that Bard and ChatGPT should not train off of these bottom of funnel pages. But if you have a human reviewer, then it's fine. Of course, all of these pages would go into the sitemap. That sitemap would be submitted to Google Search Console. That pretty much goes without saying. And actually, I think that's mostly it. You'd want to have high enough domain authority yourself so that you can rank for keywords, but it doesn't have to be very high. I'm going to share how I know this is possible. And it's because of the 2 podcasts that I recorded a few days ago about this company, Adify.app, has the most impressive SEO that I've seen. It went from not existing a year ago to now ranking for more than 200,000 keywords. The way that it works, in short, is that it's a Chrome extension that uses GPT to summarize YouTube videos. Every time somebody summarizes a YouTube video with the Chrome extension, the summary gets created as a page on the website, and then that page ranks for different keywords related to the summary. Oh, yes, there's one more part. The reason that they're able to rank is because they pass AI writing detectors. And so this software that I'm describing, this bottom of funnel generative software, would need to pass AI writing detectors. They also put in their robots.txt that Bard and ChatGPT should not train off of their generations because their generations are not human reviewed. There's too many of them. That's how they're able to rank for 200,000 keywords. These are all top of funnel keywords, but they're able to rank nonetheless and have done it very fast. And their domain authority is only 33 out of 100. So the domain authority does not have to be huge. So now I've described this tool. I think this tool, because it would require a good amount of setup, should be priced very high, because it's so powerful as well. It needs to connect to a customer's website and put pages on a website and connect with human reviewers so that reviewers can look at these pages before they're published. So there are these little things that go into it that make it a tedious process to set up. It's not an out-of-the-box SaaS tool, not at all, but the results that it will generate are so dramatic and so powerful. I mean, it would truly just be a rich get richer type scenario for the people who can afford it or the people who can make it themselves. I mean, it would be that powerful. And I think with the technology that we have now with generative AI, it can be done. This is episode 169 of The Edward Show. It just hit 7 a.m. here in Wrocław, Poland, where I am recording this. I have hot water and lemon in front of me. Woke up an hour ago. The raw recording of this episode is 30 minutes. I did not mean for it to be that long, but there was a lot to say. There was a lot to talk about. It's going to be interesting to cut it down. I think I can cut it down to 20 minutes or maybe even 18 minutes. That's my estimation, but we'll see. And so now I'm going to edit this. I'll finish editing it just as the sun is rising over the city. It's still dark out. And if someone wants to do this, please let me know because I would like to be involved. Think this would be the most powerful marketing tool ever created. I really believe that it will bring so many customers and users to a brand. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.